Hey guys, Andy here, and I'm back with somebody else's tech. Thank you very much, Tom, for lending me his Samsung Gear S3 Frontier. So, as I say, it's been lent to me. I'm going to use it, I think, for a few days, but initially, let's just open the box up and see what's inside. I'll tell you a little bit about the specs as we're going. Okay, we're going to have to cut the seals. So I think the first thing to be aware, this is not an Android Wear device. I think it's Tizen. I've got the specs here in front of me. I'm fairly sure it's Tizen. So it's a year or so old device. The Gear S3 comes in the Classic and the Frontier version. The Frontier basically being the sort of connected version, so you can put a SIM. I guess you can put a SIM card in it. And you can leave your phone at home, you can receive and make calls and that sort of thing just on the watch. And there it is. Okay, so we're in the charging dock at this point. Remove some of the sponge. Remove whatever that is. I'm not quite sure that a man's thrown it away or not. So there is the watch itself. Well, that's nice. That feels like a nice action, actually. I'm going to take off the screen protection as well. Let's pull it back out. So it's got a magnetized. The rubber strap feels very feels nice. Basically, I don't know how to explain it. It's just a good quality feel to it. And then it's a magnetized Qi charging. So you see that? So it can come out, but it takes. It's pretty. I mean, that's pretty. It's pretty secure. Put it that way. We've got some protection around the charger as well. Let's just take that off. And on the back there, can you see the camera focusing? Micro USB. There we go. Well, that looks like an LED on the front, which I assume is going to light up, showing us when we're charging and such. So let's just pop them aside for the minute and see if there's anything else in the box that we need to be aware of. So that feels just like the charging brick. That's quite a thin, low profile charger. That's good. Get it back in its bag. And we've got a quick start guide. Oh, and there's a second smaller strap. Just the one side though, so that's... You see that? So it's kind of, I don't know, 1.5 cm less. Should you have little bony girl arms, you are accounted for. I mean, to be fair, it's quite a big watch. Let's just put them aside for the moment. That's a reasonably sized watch, so if you have got bony girl arms, just take those off as well. Oi. Keep it all together. When I've got reasonably big arms, I think that looks fine. So for me, and like I said, I do have quite big arms, but it fits on with a hole to spare. How do we? So I disregarded. I don't need the quick start manual. I don't actually know how to turn. There we go. So some of the other specs: 63 grams in weight. Doesn't feel heavy, I wouldn't say. Oh, it says SIM no, so I'm not quite sure how that bit works. We'll have to find out, hopefully. IP68 certified, so that's dust waterproof, 1.5 meters for 30 minutes. Compatible with a standard 22mm strap. It's fine. Super AMOLED capacitive touchscreen, 1.3 inches, 360 by 360 resolution, which is 278 pixels per inch. So not a massive amount, not compared to like your phones these days, which have 500. But at the same time, plenty. I mean, I don't think you're not going to be looking at that. I don't think saying, "Oh, it's really pixelated and rubbish. Samsung Gear. I guess I'm starting the journey. Pick your gear. Let's just move in a bit closer. So I've tapped the phone. Allow it to send, that's fine. That's correct. Pair. Tap OK to install go. Yeah, fine. It's a little bit weird. I've got to install another app, but oh. Maybe it needs this plugin first. So I think we're selecting there what it can show notifications for. That's I think we'll just go, yeah, whatever. And we'll move on at this point. For now, you're all set. Okay, so it looks like we've got a bit of a kind of a walkthrough. Turn the bezel clockwise to view widgets. Turn it back to view the watch face again, and I think we go once more to see notifications. There we go. Start Samsung Pay. Great. Press the back button to go to. Okay, so that's a back button. That's like a select button, I think. Swipe. Can you see this? Swipe down from the edge to view the status. Okay. Press the home key to view your apps. Right, and then we can scroll. Oh, press again to go back. I thought that was the back. Cover and touch the screen with your palms. Okay, so that's it. Didn't vibrate. I like on my Android watch it vibrates to let me know that it's covered the. To me that's a little bit weird. Could you see that? Why would that's back and that's back and I have to tap the screen to select? Seems a little odd. Add city on your phone. New Barnet, thank you. Oh. No, I don't want to view it. I wanted to add it. Add. Oh, it has done. It has done. There we go. There's my local weather. Oh, there was something else there. Oh, just adding another set. Okay, so I think at this point, we've had a bit of a look around. We've had a look at the device itself. There's a heart rate monitor on the back, I should say. There's a microphone just here, so when it's on your wrist, you can kind of, you talk into it. And there's a speaker on that side. I think that's all there is to know from the look around. It's got 4 gig onboard storage, just to finish the specs. 4 gig of onboard storage. It's got an Exynos 7270 chipset. The CPU is a dual-core 1 GHz. So it is Tizen based wearable platform 2.3.2. Corning Gorilla Glass SR Plus, whatever that is. Does have an always-on display, he says, as the display turns off. I guess that's just in the settings somewhere. I think that's all there is to know at this point. It's £250 for the Frontier or the Classic, so I'm not quite sure what the difference is. The Frontier doesn't take a SIM card. Okay, so I'm going to use it for, I guess, a couple of days before Tom wants his watch. And I'll come back and give you my thoughts at that point in a couple of seconds. So I'm back. I've been using the watch for a couple of days now. It's only been a couple of days. I've had a few different uses with it. I've been cycling, I've been to the gym, I've been out to the pub. So different scenarios for me to kind of form an opinion on it, I suppose. Let's start with the sort of the design and the hardware, I guess. So I actually think it does look really nice. It's quite a big watch, and maybe if you've got smaller wrists, maybe it looks a little silly, but I don't think so. Generally, I think generally it's a very nicely designed. All the materials feel good quality, like the strap. As I said earlier on, I can't really explain. It just feels it's a decent kind of strong but malleable, kind of rubbery, plasticky rubber. Just yeah, feels good. The bezel actually feels very good. You get some haptic feedback as well from that. So generally it does just feel like a sort of quality product. I do actually quite like the rotating bezel. It's something I would like on one of my own watches. It's quite handy at times as a good way to select things. The screen I think is nice and clear. Even in the sunlight, I went out to try and take a couple of pictures of the watch, and I sort of put it into the sunlight, And I'll be honest, I think my watch, I wouldn't have been able to read the screen in the bright sunlight that was shining on it, but this was amazingly clear, if I'm honest. Really very good. The screen doesn't always activate very well, so obviously normally you do the, so that's fine. There's just been times when, I don't know, maybe you're sort of sat at a table or a desk, and I'll wait for the screen to go off now. Mind you, always on is selected, so I don't know why it is going off. And you just have a bit of a glance. So I mean, that was pretty good actually. That wasn't much of a movement, but there were times where I found myself having to compress a button to turn the screen on. Let's have a quick look at the always on. Oh, actually, I can come down to settings now. Watch faces. I'm sure I just turned it back on. Yeah, so that's off. That's on. It tells me about a sort of a battery warning. I say yes, fine, and then we'll see. But so where was that? There's the little speaker on as well. It's actually quite. Oh, it's gone off again. So I don't understand why it does that. Right, how do I check the speaker? Sounds, sound mode, vibrate, volume. That's probably come back. A little overly sensitive. So we turn the bezel to. Excuse me. Can you hear that? That's quite subtle. That's probably where you actually want it. You can turn up. You know, we go a bit louder. Yeah, I mean that's more people are going to notice that than just you. And then we go right the way. I'll put that a bit nearer the microphone. So that's actually, I would say that's quite loud. That's pretty good for a tiny little device. Definitely, you're going to sort of notice that pinging away. You would hope. So yeah, quite impressive there. I'm going to move on to kind of the software aspect of things. One thing I didn't realise until this morning actually is that you're much better off using the Samsung Gear app on your phone than looking through the settings of the watch. There's a lot more information in the phone, excuse me. So in the app we've got two different tabs, info and settings. So in info, battery percentage, space and RAM, then sort of sliding advert, Samsung Pay. I didn't bother trying to set up because I assume you need a Samsung device to do that. I don't really want to, because I'm not going to be using it again, so I've not bothered. There's quite a lot of different watch faces. We'll come to that in a moment. Suggested apps. So again, looking through the watch, I thought, oh my god, there's hardly any apps for this thing. But actually, in the app, there's loads. So this is a bit of a weird sort of front screen. I'm not sure. I mean, it's just all watch faces generally. But if we go to the very top, there we go. Tap on Gear Essentials, for example, and we get kind of hand-picked app choices. And they're just, I mean, considering these are the hand-picked choices, there's a lot of them. I do notice a lot of them aren't rated that highly when it comes to the stars. I don't know what that says. And also, a lot of them, I would say the majority, are paid. But to be fair, that's kind of half them so far. Each side's got a paid one and a sort of a free app that I'm scrolling down. Those 2, 3, 3. But yeah, there is quite a lot of paid apps. But I would say, please do support devs. Now I'm a developer. Sometimes you'll spend, I mean, literally months writing an app, and then you go 59p, and people go, "Puh, it's not free. I'm not having that." If it's something you use or you think is a decent app, don't be afraid to spend £1 or £2 and thank the developer. He's not getting rich off these. I almost guarantee you. Well, some of them maybe, but only very, very few. You can be more specific about what type of apps we're looking for. So if we want health and fitness apps, we can select that. We can then see which the free ones are and which the paid ones are. So hopefully you're realizing now that you're seeing that there's a lot of apps actually. I was quite surprised and impressed. So let's come back out from there. Let's go. Whoa, what happened there? And let's go over to the settings side of things. Let's start with the watch faces. So I'm on this, I forget what it's called now, Gear dashboard. I tap customize. I can change the color. If I just tap save, we'll see, hopefully, there we go, red text is sent over. I don't like red though, so let's go back to, maybe we'll go light. No, we'll stick with yellow. Then we get to change the complications. So at the moment I've got the battery showing in the top left, as you can see. So I'm going to change that to, what am I changing that to? The date. Second complication was the weather. Change it to steps. So I've already got steps, so let's change steps. Music, I don't even know what. Oh, okay, that's the play button, fair enough. And then the bottom right is my heart rate. Bleh, I'm running out of things to. Well, let's put the battery back down there. See, why has the screen gone off? You're always on. Save, and then we see all the changes sent over. If I wanted to, I tap on a different one. That changes very quickly. Some of them are customizable, some of them aren't. The little icon in the top says if they have an always on screen or not, so I guess some of them just don't have the option to be always on, but that should. So go back to my normal one. So that's pretty good. Notifications, be aware. So notifications by default don't turn the screen on. I was sat in a pub and I kept feeling the watch vibrate, and I did a little glance and the screen wasn't on. I had no idea what the notification was. You have to press the button, rotate the bezel to see what's happened. But then this morning I found there's an option in the settings on the phone. I mean, maybe it's on the watch and I just wasn't looking hard enough to turn the screen on when there's a notification. So just bear that one in mind if you get one yourself. Apps. Now, again, oh, it has updated them now. Fair enough. So I was going to say, I opened it up this morning. 7 of the apps had little exclamation marks, I think it was, basically saying there's an update, you need to apply an update. So I did a couple of them. I thought, well, why isn't it doing it automatically? And it does look like it's now, because it's set to do automatically whenever available. And it has done them now. There was also quite a big firmware update that the app told me about, and I'm thinking, well, I've been wearing the watch for 2 days. Why didn't the watch tell me there's a firmware update? But anyway, I did the update. It's very slow, so I mean, hopefully they don't come through very often, because it must have literally taken 10 or 15 minutes. Man, I went off and was doing other stuff. It took a long time to kind of, I don't know if it's transferring over and then to install again, and it, yeah, very slow, but hopefully isn't needed that often. There's some quite good fun games actually. I'd forgot as we were looking at the apps. I'm looking at my notes and just, oh, I didn't say about the games. So I'm going to come into, now this, okay, well, we're at it already, so I'll just show you. Rotate bezel. So one way we get, right, new game. I do this one, obviously. Oh, you just match up the color of the bouncing ball to the color of the, oh, see, I thought I rotated the bezel there and it didn't actually rotate anywhere. But yeah, literally you're just matching the color. Oh, that's quite easy. Ooh. Way. I could be on for a new record here. Yeah, the hard ones are when they want you to roll it all the way around. Oh, damn it. Oh, 20, new high score. So that's that. I think that's actually quite a good sort of way to pass the time, perhaps. But what I was going to say is, so we rotate the bezel to select what app, and then we're going back into some more apps, and then we go back in. So this is kind of the first one. So when you tap home to get to the games, you would have to swing all the way around through one, all the way around through the next, and there we are. Now there is, so I'll come back again. There is recent apps, I guess, and there they are, but close all. So sorry, yeah, that was just kind of a we can get to S Voice. If you're an S Voice user, we double tap the home button. Will it rain tomorrow? Will it rain tomorrow? I don't know if you could hear that. It's talking to me as well. No, it will not rain. Now, I think I started speaking before it was ready, but then, to be fair, I'd waited a fair old time. It's quite slow. Google Assistant, I don't use it a lot on my watch, actually, so it's hard to say that it's that much quicker. But S Voice there, I mean, you saw there, that to me was quite slow, but usable. The vibrations on the watch are nice and strong when you get the notifications. I've already mentioned about it doesn't light the screen up by default. Did I mention the SOS yet? So I'm not going to do it. Well, it's not set up actually, but you press the home button 3 times, and it's you set up a particular loved one or whatever, and they basically get a message from you. So if you, I don't know, you get it mugged, you press it 3 times, you're not going to be able to do much. But there is an SOS option in there. I've mentioned the firmware update. The only thing to mention, I suppose, was when I have been exercising. So I'm going to pop it onto my wrist real quick. I went to the gym yesterday morning. I cycled to the gym, which I don't often do, but I kind of thought, whoa, I need to be testing the fitness aspect of the watch. So let's go to Samsung Health. So you can see how many calories I've burnt. Oh, I don't mean to. We can rotate through. Oh. I thought we could. Oh, this must be from the new update. So this isn't how it used to do it. So heart rate measure. But you can set up that you want to, you're going to do an exercise, if that makes sense. And you can tell it you're cycling. So there's my heart rate 71. That seems about right. You can track that you're drinking water or caffeine, or so there's exercise. So let's go into exercise. Let's start a new workout. Yeah, where do I? Sorry, like I said, this has all actually changed since I was using it yesterday. So you can go there and say, right, I'm cycling. And then you can see there the GPSs. You see that? GPS and your heart rate. So when I tap start, use location-based feature, that's fine. Oh, yeah. Righto. We get a bit of a countdown, which is quite uncomfortable for my wrist. And then you can check your distance, obviously, and your time, and your heart rate. And it all worked quite well. At the very end, you get kind of a summary showing the map actually where you've been cycling. That's quite handy. I'm not entirely sure how it sends, if it sends it over to the phone. I didn't notice that I could then review it. I didn't get a notification on the phone saying have a look at your, but it's all there on the watch. Let's just tap finish. It's gonna finish workout, yes, and it gives a summary. So this summary is not gonna be much use. And you can do the same when you're sort of lifting weights. I forget where it is in there. I was on the like spinning the cycle machine. That was in there somewhere. Rowing machine, other workouts. So there's all kind of different options that you can select. And it works. So heart rate monitor, I'm trying to tell you, is not very accurate. I don't know if it's just kind of when gets a bit sweaty that it really struggles, but I finished my cycle and it was telling me my heart rate was 88. Now I had something else on me that was measuring my heart rate, and that was saying it was 130 something or other. So I manually tested. I literally got my stopwatch out on my phone and was timing it, and it said, well, it had 34 beats in 15 seconds. That's like 136. So unfortunately, clearly the watch was not right. One of the other settings within the sort of exercise thing is kind of how often you get updates. I think I put it to 5 minutes. So every 5 minutes the watch would vibrate. I'd have a glance at it and it would give me a kind of an update of what I've been doing. So if I'm cycling, it tells me how far I've cycled. I think it gave me my pace. It definitely gave me my heart rate, as accurate as that might be. So that's quite handy. One problem I did have, and I'm not sure what was happening, but I started to cycle exercise. I started to cycle, and after sort of 15 seconds I looked down and the watch was rebooting, and it came back up and I had to basically pull over. Well, actually I think the first time I kind of managed to twist it around and start it back up again, cycled a bit longer, I looked again and it was rebooting again. So I pulled over and I tried to move the watch. I don't know if I was kind of somehow on the bike, I was squashing against one of the buttons and holding the button down reboots it, which doesn't seem to. I hold the button down on here now. One brings up Samsung Pay and the other just brings up, I mean, maybe if I hold it for ages, but I can't imagine that I'm pressing it for that long. Or maybe I've kind of somehow pressed that enough so then the glove has caught the power. I don't know. It was quite odd, but it did it twice. It didn't do it again, so I did move it up and I cycled and actually I think it might have done it coming in because I don't think I got a summary then. So yeah, just a little weird. I don't know what that was. Maybe it was a software issue in the firmware update I've done this morning would fix it. I'm not sure. So all in all, I think it's a nice watch. I think it looks really nice. The screen is fantastic. Really, really good. I'm not sure what this whole always on screen thing is. Like, it keeps turning off even though I've got always on selected. That doesn't make sense to me. I don't know what's going on. And to me, almost a deal breaker. The reason I bought the watch that I have is because it's got the always on screen. Well, is a big factor. Also, the heart rate monitor being that inaccurate, a little bit of an issue. So it is a very nice device. It's very nice hardware with a few niggles. I'd be interested to hear your thoughts. Let me know in the comments down below. But for now, my name's Andy, and I'll catch you all again soon. You made it all the way to the end. Well done. So thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, please do subscribe by clicking the little fellow over on this side of the screen. You might also want to check out the other videos. Should be just there. Check out my website as well, androidandy.uk, made by me. I'm learning HTML and PHP, so hopefully it's functional. But I'll see you again in the next video.